But there's something about AI that perhaps is a little more sinister, many people feel. Now, let me give you a good example, because there's some exciting news. Our technology editor, Zoe Kleinman, has written a new book. Only she hasn't. And the fact that she hasn't, and yet the book is out there, has quite a lot of significance for all artists and creators. So what's going on? Here's Zoe to explain.
This is a book that I was given for Christmas, and it really gave me a bit of a shock. It's got my name on it, it's got my face on the front cover, but it was entirely generated by artificial intelligence. It probably took about a minute to churn it out. It's 240 pages long. My friend gave it a few basic prompts about me, so it's got some details about my life, places that I've lived, names of my family, but other than that, the book has had absolutely nothing to do with me. And I think it says quite a lot, doesn't it, about where we're going with the power of artificial intelligence to churn out creative work. Now, in my opinion, it could do with a bit of an edit. It's very chatty, it's quite rambly, there's a lot of inaccuracies in it for all that it's entertaining. I think it needs an editor's red pen on it. But as the UK government is currently considering changes to copyright law to get the balance between making sure that AI tools have decent data to train on, because without it they won't be any good, and protecting the rights of those creatives who write for a living, who create songs, who create movies, who create artwork, and we're already seeing that AI is very powerfully mimicking that at a much lower cost.
Our technology editor, Zoe Kleinman. Now, you and I have discussed AI a lot of times on this program and its risk, but I mean for the creative industries, for people trying to do things like writing books, perhaps even speaking on the radio, it's worrying, isn't it, that this sort of thing can happen, because it takes away the human element, takes away the creative element.
That's right. AI actually knows you better than you do. Roger, just for experiment, I just asked DeepSeek, the new Chinese chatbot, who is the journalist Roger hearing? And guess what? They gave me a huge resume of yours. Now, his reporting has included conflicts, political developments, and humanitarian issues. He provided in-depth analysis and on-the-ground reporting, and respected for his expertise in conflict zones and international affairs.
How very insightful of it. I'm beginning to like this, yes.
There's nothing wrong with the robots.
Yes. Yeah. It didn't come up with any of my terrible secrets then.
No.
Oh, thank God. That would have been awful. But no, I mean, that's really interesting. And Andy, I mean, this is, it is an issue, because, you hear people talking about things that can be created without human involvement, or at least not human active involvement, and that this, is cheaper, clearly, if you're wanting to write a newspaper, if you're wanting to write a book. But we lose something, don't we?
Well, we were, it's so funny, because that's our holdout, right? Is that we do the things that the artificial intelligence can't do. We need to have sort of the human element, the human voice, the things that we do here on the radio. I think we're sort of speaking to the robots right now. Don't take our jobs. But it is really funny, though, Roger. I was thinking about this last night. I was having a conversation with my cousin, who is in his mid-20s. And I asked him, he's an accountant and he's just starting out. And I asked him if he thought that artificial intelligence was basically going to take his job. And he said that he didn't think it was going to be his job, but his kids' jobs were absolutely not going to be. They were not going to be accountants. What he was saying, though, is basically you needed a human. And I think this is probably right. You need a human to control the inputs. And then you also need, basically what your guest was saying there, too, you need an editor.
Yeah, you need a check, don't you?
Exactly.
You need that blue pencil or whatever it is in some form. Although you imagine, this is the point, at a certain point, it gets better. That's the whole thing with AI. It learns. So, it will get past those things we're talking about and will be as good before too long as we are.
I know it learns too quickly, I would say. I mean, anything that I do now, I presume that AI can do and can do better. So it's a scary time for myself, actually. I don't know about you, Roger, but, I'm kind of, starting to think maybe I should switch on something that they can't do yet, just like, doing perfect paintings or something that contains a lot of emotions and stuff.
But that's the point, exactly what you've hit on there, because you can get a DeepSeek or whatever perhaps to do a Van Gogh painting of something, but actually it isn't Van Gogh. It isn't. It's something machine created. That spark, surely, Andy, is there only in the human creation, isn't it? Or am I just being romantic about it?
Well, no, I was gonna say. I mean, that's us with our fingers crossed, right? Like, no. I think you're right, and I think It's funny because I think humans can sense that. I say that about our medium all the time, right? Is that there's something about the human voice, and you can tell when a robot or when an AI is reading to you. You can tell because there are just subtleties. There are certain things. So I think. And maybe I'm with you. Maybe I'm sitting here crossing my fingers, but I think you're right. I think there's a human element to all of this that I think they can learn really fast, but I just don't think they can learn that.
Well, we shall see. We shall see.
For now.
They'll be playing this in a few years from now, saying, "Well, that's what they used to say." Oh dear! By which time we will all be, well, almost irrelevant. But anyway, I hope we haven't been during this program. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks so much for listening to Business Matters. My thanks for my guests, Andy and Na. And have a great weekend. I'm back on Monday at the same time. Please listen then. But for now, from me and all of us here, bye-bye.